I want to finish this breakout board. I need to replace one of these 9602s. I've ordered some brand new parts, but it'll be a week before they get in. But I remembered that the old Bally pinball machine CPUs have one of those chips on it, and I have a couple here that I don't mind stealing parts off of. This one in particular, man, look at that work I did at one time. All those jumpers and stuff. I replaced all the ROMs with a larger ROM apparently, and I can do a better job than that. So I'll probably take it off of this one. Board doesn't have too much acid damage, so it's not in horrible shape. Definitely usable. But I'm going to take this chip out here. It's a 9602 that I can use on this board. If it's good, then that finishes up the repair. Hopefully, I still need to fully test it. But if that finishes up the repair, then I can move on to doing the skill or difficulty level changes to these boards. Get that off my list. All right, let me take this chip out and stick it in the board and see if it works. So I've got the new to this board, one shot. These are one shots, these 9602s. And the audio is not buzzing constantly anymore. And we have sounds, but it's missing the brick sound. So no brick sound. We've got paddle sound and wall sound, but no brick sound. All right. So that's progress. So the brick sound is here, and this the chip that I just replaced enables it. So this could be bad. This one could be bad. So what I'm going to do is I'll swap the two one-shot sensor socket. I'll swap them and see if that gives me the brick sound and takes vertical ball sound. I guess the VB stands for vertical ball. If that's what happens, then we know that the one I installed has a bad channel. These things have two channels. Otherwise, it's going to be a different problem, and I'll research it further. Let me check it and see. Swap the two chips, and now we have paddle, wall, but no brick still, so there's a different problem. I'll get the scope warmed up, and I'll probe and figure out which chip is bad. All right, so this guy here is the one that I took off of a pinball board, and we're not getting a signal here. We're not getting the trigger signal. So I look at this gate here, and all three inputs are getting a signal that, as long as they all happen at the same time, this should toggle, but this is not toggling. These three inputs, two of them are moving with the ball hitting the brick, but one of them is a clock, so it's constantly pulsing. So I'm thinking this chip is just probably bad, so let me replace it and see what happens. This is it's a what? It looks like it's a 7410 at location J9. So let me get that done. Okay, so here's the chip that I replaced. It had a couple of pins that had been cut off. I guess someone was diagnosing it, or maybe I did years ago and forgot. This chip I don't believe was actually bad though. I may solder legs on it and see if that fixes it. But I replaced the chip. A signal's getting through. A trigger signal's getting here. But, oh, and an output. The output's toggling. But you can't see it with the scope. You can only see it with the logic probe. So that tells me that the capacitor for this is not working or is out of spec. So it's probably an open, basically, no capacitance. So it has no ability to store a charge in order for the signal to be there for very long. So I'm going to replace that 1 microfarad capacitor there. And there's also another one. No, that's the only one, just 1 microfarad. So I'll replace it and see if that doesn't give me a stronger signal there. So I'm using my voltmeter, which has the ability to measure capacitance. I got the capacitor out of circuit, and I've got it hooked up, and it's 5 nanofarads. And when I flip it over to microfarads, it's 0.07. Now, that's probably just basically nothing, zero. There's probably some residual capacitance that's picking up. So that thing is basically an open and needs to be replaced. That should fix the sound problem. There's another one on that same chip, but for a different sound. I'll go ahead and pull it and check it too, and probably replace it if it's bad. So here's a replacement capacitor I dug up, and it's reading 1.1. So subtract residuals, it's going to be right at 1.0, pretty close. So let me install that now to get that sound fixed. I still want to pull the other capacitor though. Got the capacitor installed. The other one's checked out. So let me coin this thing up, play a game, see how the sounds are. Paddle sound, wall, brick. All right. Ah, sounds pretty good to me. All right, I'm gonna let this game end. I noticed something when you power it up. It doesn't start a game when you push the start button, the player one start button. But, all right, so there shouldn't be any credits on this. So if I push player 2, it doesn't do anything. But if I push player 1, well, it gave me 2 credits. 2 credits. That's probably a problem. There's a setting here for 1 play or 2 play, so I assume that means 1 credit, 2 credits per coin, and it's apparently set on one play. So I would have expected 1 coin. Let me power the board down. All right, that's set for a second. All right, so there should be no coins on this when you first turn it on. Right, so if I push start button, it shouldn't start. But did you see it? It cleared the score. Why did it do that? I think that's a problem. And it's only the player 1 button that does that. Player 2 button doesn't do that. Also, if there's scores on both of these, pushing the player 1 button clears both of them. So I'm going to look at that. But the audio problem we had is fixed. And why is it giving more than 1 credit per coin? So those are the 2 things I need to look at. I'm going to keep going with it. So I'm obviously have some problems with the credits, and this is the credit counter. So you can store up to 15 credits on this 4-bit counter. So I examined the part. It's located L8, and L8 is, let's see, it's right here. This is L8. And I've noticed that there's a pin that has been cut and someone tried to solder it back and didn't quite get there. This chip may be fine, but I'm still going to pull it and put a socket there, and then I can solder a new pin on. This is a 193. I should have some of those, but you know, why use a new one if this one's fine? So let me do that. Let me socket that up, and let me see what happens. So I've socketed that chip, and I can't really see from this angle, but I soldered a new pin on the chip and put it in the socket there. And now when I hit start button, it doesn't clear the scores. So if I credit 1 coin, it won't start player 2, but it starts player 1. Okay, let me cycle the power one more time. All right, so if I push the start button, it doesn't clear it. I'm going to give it 2 credits, 1 on each coin. And I started a 2-player game. So that circuit, that's all it was that pin was not connected to the chip. I soldered the pin on there. It's ugly, but it's going to be fine. It's socketed. If someone doesn't like it, they can replace it later. But I'm cool with it. So, audio's been fixed. Coin circuit's been fixed. I can't think of anything else that I had to do to this. I had to socket that one. That chip there had a bad pin too. I had to fix it. Oh, and this one had a bad pin. That one's been fixed. So a couple, two or three chips with cut pins. It looks like maybe someone was trying to diagnose something. Not sure. Oh, had a bad capacitor. One of these one shots was bad. But I think we're 100% now. So I think that's going to be it for these videos tonight. It's getting late and I'm tired. I'm going to shut it down, and then the next time I deal with these boards, I don't know if it'll be next or not, but probably, I will put the adapter boards in there to let you select the size of the paddles. Thanks for watching.